Hey everyone, what's up? It is Kirsten over at Katie's House Foundation and Temple View Capital. And today we are going to be talking about motivation mindset. And I want to introduce you to Andrew. Andrew, how are you?
Howdy, y'all. My name's Andrew.
So, Andrew is a general contractor, and Julie, our normal co host, couldn't be on today, but we wanted to have another guest. And so, Andrew, thank you for being here. And if you just want to jump right into it and tell everyone, about kind of your jet ski history, because I think that's super cool, anything you did in the Navy, and then all about your construction company and what you're doing in San Diego. And then I think you're going to be moving out here to Lake Havasu. So, go ahead and tell us about yourself.
Absolutely. So my name's Andrew. I actually competed in Havasu at the World Finals. I competed when I was a teenager and in the junior class, and then competed again when I was 17. And I actually won a couple world titles in Havasu. Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
So after that, I got done with jet skiing. I accomplished my goals, won my world championships, and I decided to go into engineering because I love building things. So I absolutely my heart's content doing that. So I went to Virginia Tech for mechanical engineering and realized the college life is not exactly for me. And I went out to California to take care of my pops. He had a heart attack. He actually, ironically enough, lives in Havasu now. And he was like, "Hey, I want you to join the Navy. I think it'd be a good experience for you, and you would learn a lot." So I was like, "You know what? I think you're right." So I joined the Navy. I scored really well on the ASVAB, which is the testing, and they put me to work on nuclear reactors in the Navy. So I was electrician's mate. Um, Worked my way up. Had a great experience in the military. Learned a lot. Met a lot of really, really good people and had a profound experience with hard work and learning what it is you want to do in life. So after I got out, I tried to figure out what it was I wanted to do, and um, I decided to go into construction. So there was a gentleman that I knew. He was an older gentleman. He had been contracting for, I think, 35, 40 years. And he took me under his wing and taught me a bunch of stuff. He taught me how to build houses from top to bottom. I've built over 12 homes from top to bottom. That means from foundation, like breaking ground, foundation, putting rebar in, forming, doing the concrete pad, framing the house, putting gas lines in,
Andrew, we're losing your audio right now. Hey Andrew, for whatever reason you're on mute. Let me just let you know. Hey everyone who's watching, sorry about this. I gotta let Andrew know that he's on mute somehow because we definitely want to hear what he's into.
Can you see me now?
Yeah, you were on
Oh,
mute or something for a minute. So
okay.
you were
All right.
talking about in the Navy, you were learning kind of about, what you wanted to do. So that's where we were at.
Yes. So after when I was in the Navy, it gave me a direction. I started to realize what it is I wanted to do, and I love to build stuff, and I couldn't do that in the Navy. So after that, decided to go into construction. Seemed like a good opportunity to be able to build things with my hands and see things like grow. And it's based on you helping people and being able to facilitate what I like to do. So when we went, I met up with a gentleman named Don. He's been doing construction for 35 years, and he taught me how to do full general construction, which is building houses from top to bottom, foundation work all the way through framing, gas lines, electrical, plumbing, drainage systems, roofing, exterior work, interior work, everything. So I was able to take some of the electrical knowledge I had learned in the Navy because I was an electrician's mate working on nuclear reactors, and I was able to bring that to construction. Um, I was also able to bring the military mindset, which is when you take and you do something, you do it with pride, and you make sure that your work is absolute 100% good to go. Because when you work on nuclear reactors, you have no room for error. And I like to take that and show that in my work. Let's see. Sorry about that. So
No,
during this,
I love that. I love that. And I know you're on a job site right now, and I'd like you to show us what you're working on. But also, before we finish this live, I would like you to touch on kind of how you do things in San Diego versus Lake Havasu, just what you've noticed. Because I know when we had lunch with my husband, who he's like you, he's really particular about making things perfect. And that's just the way that he expects his house to be as far as construction goes. And I know when you guys were talking, you were talking the same language as it relates to building. Some of the things that you were saying, which, I'm in real estate and I do loans for construction. But you guys are very particular about some of the things when it comes to, maximizing efficiencies, et cetera. So why don't you show us what you're working on in San Diego and tell us more about what you've been building out there?
Sure, absolutely. So we have multiple developers that we work with, and developers and contractors. So we do everything from economy housing, which would be like triplexes, duplexes, and then we go to high-end builds. So I'll show you like one of the ones that we're on right now. So this is more of a luxury build. So in particular, we're doing. So I was the one that did the grading work for part of this building. This is some of the concrete that you see. This is more of a high-end luxury home. This is in La Jolla. And then we actually just poured uh, all of this. Give me 1 second. Oop, oop, let me go the other way. We're, we're still doing work. All right.
Now, how's the permitting process out there in La Jolla? I know that it's probably really sticky, right?
It's awful. When you get into permits in California and San Diego, they already take a long time. They can range anywhere between 8 weeks.
So I think with you being in La Jolla, some of those areas and walking around where you're at, we lost you again
There's a
on the
retardant
sound.
to be able to delay the top, and then after that, they power wash everything, and then it gives a certain type of texture to it. I would walk over there, but it's still wet.
I think when he goes underneath the awning in some of the spots, his cell phone, Andrew, your cell phone cuts out in some of the pockets that you're walking around in. So let's find you a pocket that works.
I'm sorry, you broke up there. What was that?
I was saying, if you want to hold still right there, I think you have good reception right where you're
Yeah.
standing. But when you walk underneath that awning, we lose you.
Oh, my apologies.
No, that's
Yes, the permitting process out here is pretty rough, and it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of time for the city uh, to enable workers to be able to to go into it. I'd like to be able uh, in Havasu. I've heard that it's a lot easier to get the permitting approved, and I like to be able to take our skills and knowledge to Havasu and be able to do great work there. Um, you mind if I go into why I'm heading to Havasu?
yeah. Come on, tell us.
Well, so I have a couple family members. My uncle, my aunt, my grandma, and my mom and dad are there. So I'm moving out to Havasu. I like to take care of my parents. They've done right by me. They're amazing parents, and I'm going out there to take care of them and give some of the love back. And then, yeah, so that's why I'm
That's
heading out.
awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. So, what are you gonna offer when you come out to Havasu? Is it going to be everything from dirt work to running electrical, and then also ground all the way up to finished and completed house?
So when we first get out there, my mainstay is gonna be excavation work and concrete pavers, landscaping, and then um, after that, once we've broken ground and We get to know people over there. We're going to get into general construction, which will be full house building. So that'll be interior, exterior, stucco work, full house building, and we'll go from there.
That's awesome. And I understand like you and your partner, plan to have your home and your family here. And so you guys will become locals. And you and I have chatted about affordable housing, kind of doing some of that for, where when it's possible, as well as the luxury stuff. And let's talk a little bit about what you see as far as improving efficiencies, because there's beautiful buildings here. There's a lot of builders, not a ton of dirt movers. Certainly there are a few who we have utilized, and we love everybody who works here in Lake Havasu. But I also know some of them like actually go back and forth from San Diego to Havasu for materials, and then there's just a couple different things. And so it sounds like you guys are going to have licenses in both California and Arizona. And when you were talking with my husband, you guys were talking about some cool stuff that just sounded like out here when it's 120 degrees, maybe there's some stuff that you do that will be really great for the houses. Can you talk about that?
Absolutely. Yeah. So one of the things that we're looking to bring over there is we're looking to bring in geothermal cooling. It's we do it out here on high end residential houses because it saves a huge amount of money in electricity because the electricity is super high here. But as an environmental thing, it takes a lot of load off the electrical system for the grid. If you have a large house, 3,000, 5,000 square feet, and you start cranking air conditioning systems to bring the temperature down, geothermal can use a tenth of the electricity, um, which takes a load off the grid, especially as everyone's converting over to electric cars. That's a skill set we can bring over there, along with our insulation techniques that we use because we do advanced framing. It's a different type of framing technique that's used. Instead of doing 60 on center walls, we do 24 on center, or we can do 24 on center walls. What that does is it allows you to have a larger stud spacing, which allows a larger area for insulation, improves thermal efficiency of the house, and on top of that, it uses less wood. So you're saving the trees while also improving your house. So those are multiple techniques that we can use over there. Also, the other thing is when we talk about efficiencies of building, when you deal with contractors and subcontractors, you need to be able to stack them up correctly and make sure everyone's on point and have a leadership to say, hey, this is what we're doing, this is happening, and you go A, B, C, D. And it pushes the project forward a lot. I know my own parents in Havasu have had a lot of issues with the speed of contract work out there. It took them 4 months to do their kitchen. Um, and I think I could bring a level of
Expediency.
exactly, because like our military experience allows us to say, "Hey, this is what we have to get done. This is what we have to do. It has to look right. It has to be perfect. Let's do this." You line everybody up. You knock it down. So
And
I think we can bring that.
are you going to hire people here, go through like an interviewing process and see if you can find some people here that'll come and work on your
Absolutely,
crew? Because I know our teenager, he's happy. He wants to put his hands to work. And so what's that going to look
absolutely.
like? How many guys or women might you be looking for when you get here?
So we're gonna start small at first. We're probably gonna run a crew of like one operator and for machine work, and then probably a couple laborers. I have carpentry skills as a full general contractor. So I've personally framed multiple houses. I've done all the electrical work myself. So we're gonna bring probably a couple of apprentices in. I want to use the local community because that's home. So it's gonna be bringing people in that live there, paying them well because as long as their work is good, you can pay them well, and contracting allows that, and it allows for opportunities that people normally wouldn't get, especially if they don't have college degrees. Uh, my my laborer makes more money than some people with college degrees here, and I think that we could absolutely bring that to Havasu too.
That's super cool. And then you and I talk about barndominiums, and that is a
Oh,
hot topic. all over the country because, people think they can go up faster, and all this different type of stuff. Now there's steel frame barndominiums, right? And then there's what I've heard you say maybe is a modern farmhouse type of wood, right? So can you talk about if you're going to be working on both of those out here in Havasu?
Absolutely. So I love barn dominiums. I love modern farmhouses. We just built a high-end luxury home, modern farmhouse style. It uses cement fiber board. It's called board and batten. It gives you the modern farmhouse look, but having the rigidity and stability of an actual modern house. Um, it's going to be amazing. They're beautiful. They're gorgeous. You you have all the good thermal efficiencies when you do a barn dominium because your spacing between lumber is so great. Your insulation is huge, massive, so it'll be able to keep the heat out and keep the cool in. They're going to be fantastic. They're roomy, they're spacious, and what's nice is unlike San Diego where we don't have a lot of room for space, you guys have the room.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm super excited to be working with you guys, because there are lots of, dirt lots, and people, if they can get a hold of them, I'm happy to help them get a hold of them. Certainly building a house here in the city, my understanding is that permits can take about 2 years actually in the actual
Mhm.
city. Now, if you go right outside the city, it can happen a lot faster, maybe 8 weeks. And of
Mhm.
course, it's going to depend on if your engineers and your contractors in the city are working on lake time, or if they're working on military time. Um, and so that's just up to whoever the outfit is and the crew, right? And the management, whoever's running the show there. So, making sure all of those permits are dialed in quickly. Of course, we have a drafter available who can put people's ideas on paper and then hook that up with an engineer. And so, as well as financing all this new construction and rehab. And so let's talk about that. So not just the ground up stuff, but the actual, are you guys going to be rehabbing homes or doing like additions?
Uh, so we have multiple. So in California, for the work that we do, we've done all the way down to stick remodels. So that means you tear out all the interior, exterior walls, you take out all the electrical, and you can do that. And it's a good, efficient way to do that. And it's also faster for permitting. So instead of saying, "Hey, we're going to do a new construction," which is going to be a tear down and then rebuild, you're going to end up only going, "Hey, we're gonna tear part of this out, but you're still keeping the bones of the structure." And usually that permitting process is much faster. Something also I want to say about the permitting is when you do your permits, if you do your permits fully correct, done right, everything's there, usually permits go much faster. When you mess up your paperwork and then it comes back to you, that's when usually you get extended times. Um, so I'd like to be able to bring that OCD level to the permitting process in Havasu and making sure that we can get things done in an expedient fashion.
Well, this sounds really good. I'm really excited for you to get out here as soon as possible and start moving some dirt. Lots of clients who definitely, I know, want to get on your schedule. And I guess really that's all that I have for today. I'm grateful that we met. And that, it happens to be that you're in my hometown of San Diego. Now Havasu is my second home. I've been here for 20 years as well. And so if you have anything else that you want to share with anyone who's listening.
Honestly, I can't wait to be out with you guys.
All right, awesome. So if anyone wants to hook up with Andrew, you can drop me an email. You can send it to support@katiesHouseFoundation.com, or you can give me a ring at 858-414-2810, and we will talk to you all next week. Thank you, Andrew.
No problem. See you guys.